By clicking on this video with a slightly weird title, you are going to learn a surprising amount about what growing an online business is actually like and what to expect. Now, I was at the gym this morning. I usually go at 5 AM and today is video day, so I was thinking, what should I make a video about? And the more I thought about it, the more I was thinking growing a business is like raising a child. It's almost exactly the same. Now, I'm not a father. I don't know exactly what having a child is like, but it's funny just how many similarities I found. Now, I've had two successful businesses. The first one is the one that plaque is from, and on that business, I'm a game developer. I sell games. And the second one is this one where I teach you how to make money online. And both of those, being very different businesses, have behaved exactly how I'm about to describe to you. Now, the first step to growing your own baby is conceiving that baby. Now, I'm not going to get into too many weird details here, but most people, they think long and hard about it, sometimes for years before they decide to start. And with business, it's much the same. Once you have a baby, you cannot go back. And once you start your business, do it with the intention of eventually becoming an entrepreneur. Once you start business and do it with the intention of never quitting, as long as you keep learning and improving, there will be a point where you start making money and eclipse the success you would have had from the job that you have right now, you may or may not have right now. This process of ruminating took me 4 years. Now, I don't have a child, but I decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur in 2018, but I didn't fully commit to the decision until late 2021. That was when I started my YouTube channel, that one there, and that is when I started with the intention of becoming successful and never quitting. It was my final year of university, and I started at the very beginning of that final year with the intention of becoming successful before university finished. Now, after that stage of the whole ruminating process, you have the baby. The baby gets born. The first few days you bring the baby home and it's novel, it's new, it's fun. You've never had a baby before, so it's doing all these things and you really love the baby and you have this great time, even though it's very demanding and you have to do a lot to keep the baby alive. And business is much the same. You're going to have to start. You're going to have to learn a lot of different software. You're going to have to figure out processes that you've never done before. It's going to be hard, but it's also going to be exciting. And that fire inside of you is going to keep you going. Now, at this point in business, you're already ahead of 90% of people, because a lot of people, they do want to start their own business. You hear even like 50-year-old mums, a lot of them say that they'd love to have their own calf one day, if only they knew. But anyway, my first month of YouTube, it was quite exciting. I was having fun with it. I decided to start by making fitness content because I just lost a bunch of weight. I was a really, really big boy in the past, and I was just making random videos about how I lost weight while still eating a bunch of ice cream and takeaways, about just generally my running, my lifting, all of that. It didn't work, but I was having a lot of fun with it. Now, after this first initial stage comes the dreaded 2-month mark. At the 2-month mark, if you have a baby, the novelty's worn off. You're used to having the baby now, except you're fucking tired. The baby hasn't really changed. It's still, I don't know what it's like to have a baby, but it's still demanding of you, but it's not new anymore. So you just have to go through the motions and keep raising that baby. Obviously, you don't want the baby to die, and business is much the same. Actually, 2 months in, someone really smart said this, I forgot who, but 2 months in is when most people quit business. And that's because it's now early enough for all the novelty and fun aspects to kind of wear off for the most part, but you still likely haven't got any results yet, especially if you haven't got external help from someone that's already done it. If you want my personal help, you can check the link out in the description. My first 2 months of YouTube were fun. I had fun with it, but then I think the year started in September and it got to November. And now the stress was setting in because it was already a third of the way into the university year and I still had absolutely nothing to show for it. And I was stressing the hell out because instead of now having 9 months, I had just over 6 months left and I didn't know what to do. I felt like at that point I had tried everything and I stayed consistent. And if you get to this point and don't quit, you're ahead of 99% of people who have thought about becoming entrepreneurs. So if you're lost right now, don't give up. I know it's painful if you've been going for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and you haven't had results, but that is normal. There are outliers, obviously, of people who got viral very quickly. They got lucky. Most people don't get lucky, that even people that make it. So just keep going with it. You will find that sooner or later, you will start getting traction, and then you will get to the toddler stage. All of a sudden, when a baby gets to the toddler stage, it stops just doing nothing and needing your help. Now, it gets more rewarding again because the baby starts walking, it starts saying its first words, it starts getting teeth coming in, whatever. It gets more rewarding, and the same way, in business, you will probably start making money. In my last video, I said that getting to $10,000 a month is literally just throwing stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks. And at this point, it's likely that you would have probably gained some traction if you stuck through that 2-month mark and you kept trying different things and iterating. It's likely that you have a system now that's kind of repeatable and that kind of works for making money. And it's likely that at this stage, you can quit your job. This happened with my game development channel, from going from completely zero knowledge, talking like this in front of the camera, to actually having like $4,000 online. I went completely on my own to that stage of making $4,000 in just under a year. And I had a nice system going. I would get a video out every like 2 to 6 weeks. It was a very loose schedule, but the income was relatively predictable and I could have stayed there forever. But if you want to keep pushing forward, which you should, the next stage is the longest stage of all. And it's growing up from the toddler stage all the way to a fully grown adult. And what happens there is your toddler gets slowly more independent, and as you raise it right, it gets more and more successful. It starts getting good grades at school. It starts needing less and less of your time, much like a business does. Much like you'd systemize a business, you would hire people, you would have a system for client acquisition, for the content that you make, for fulfilling the promise that you make to your clients. Obviously, you can mess something up at this stage. You might traumatize the child and damage it forever, and it will never be the same again. And this is actually what's happening with this channel that you're watching this video on. Right now, anybody that works with me, that comes to me from this channel and buys something from me, is buying my one-to-one time. But I'm currently teetering at the edge where I don't really have much more time to offer. So I'm gonna have to systemize things and figure things out in the near future. Is the longest stage that you personally spend with your business, because you know, they stop being a toddler at like 4 and they become a child, and then all the way up until 18, you need to slowly get them more independent. For your business, you're going to have to hire people, build systems for everything. And over time, that child should become more successful and more independent until it becomes an adult. And if you've raised it right, your adult will go away, become successful, and buy you a house. And much like a child that you've raised right, that wants to pay you back, maybe that buys you a house, a business will do much the same thing. You can essentially exit your business. You can make your business so independent from you that you can sell it to a different company, that, you know, some acquisition company if you want. You don't have to do this, but you can do it, and then you can buy yourself a nice big house. Obviously, I haven't got to that stage yet. I don't know even if I want to become independent of my business, but it's something for you to consider. Now, there you go. That's your life cycle from start to finish, from before even being born to leaving the nest and buying you a house. That's start to finish for a business. Then you can do whatever you want. You can fulfill your deepest materialistic desires. Mine are like roughly a £2 million British pound house and like a 200,000 British pound car. That's where I think I would stop, but then you know how it is. You'll get there, then you want something that's 10 times more expensive. So what I want you to do is comment your most materialistic, shallow desires down below. Anyway, to get my personal help with making money online, I have a guarantee where if you don't make money with me, you don't pay, so you have nothing to lose. Click the link down below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.